I started my first restaurant at 26 years old with like $40,000 that I had scraped together. In that restaurant, I did payroll. I made the wine list. It was an 80-seat restaurant. I worked every day of the week. And in year 2, we started winning awards. And year 1 was really difficult. I won Best New Chef that year from Food and Wine magazine, which was a dream. I remember looking at a copy of Food and Wine magazine 6 years prior and pointing to it and jokingly after a couple of beers saying, I'm going to be on the cover of that magazine one day. I come from fine dining, but wanted to separate from fine dining and run community restaurants that cared. I positioned myself not as an expert, but as a willing learner in life every day. So innovation in food is really interesting, and the Blended Burger Project has a lot to do with that. But with the reduction in protein size, we have to get better at applying flavor to plates. We have to get better at cooking vegetables. And we have. I've got some cremini mushrooms, and we're gonna slowly cook those down over about a medium heat. So that's just some butter in there, unsalted butter. I've got some minced shallot right here. Right before it's turned into a brown butter, I'm gonna add the shallot, add the garlic, and then some fresh thyme at the same time that I put the mushrooms in, which is gonna be pretty much now. A little bit of garlic, and then this fresh thyme. The end burger is gonna be a nice toasted bun with ground lamb, folded in with the duxelle. This is taking up about 25% of the matter within the burger. And then a slice of tomato, some Boursin cheese, which is kind of like the Velveeta of France. And then bread and butter pickles. I'm gonna put some charred scallion in there. Butter's gonna burn a little bit, but that's good. I actually want those milk solids to separate and burn. You wanna think about mouthfeel. If I'm tearing through a burger and I come upon a long scallion like this, it's not very appetizing. So chopping them about 1/4-inch pieces, 1/2-inch pieces. My first book, which was A New Turn in the South, which was my vision of what Southern food was from a Canadian lens and a Canadian perspective that is me. I got a great editor, and within a year we'd put out a cookbook that sold like mad and won me the James Beard Award for Best American Cookbook. These days, I'm toasting in butter because the secret to good restaurants, as we all know, is lots of butter and nobody notices. The mushrooms are going into the lamb with the scallions in there. And the Boursin and the tomato are just on top later. We're gonna put a little bit of salt in this. We're gonna mix it up. We're gonna make 3 sort of small-ish patties because it's kind of more slider-like, but I still want to be thick enough to get a nice sort of mid-rare on them. Okay, and then we've got a bun. We've toasted it. We're gonna put that on there. And like that, and then we're going to present that like that. And it's funny, we are not a burger joint, but I can put something like that on the menu even 5 and 10. Or Empire State South, which we did, and it sells like mad. So I got into TV by Top Chef calling me once a month for a while. This is when Top Chef first came on. It's like 2007 now. And so I kept saying no. And then 3 years later, Top Chef Masters called me, and it's for charity. So I went on, and I lost in the first episode. And I got kicked off, and I got brought back on because somebody else walked out on the show and they didn't want to do it again. I lasted a really long way through, cooking good food, doing what I do, but just cracking jokes and being a jackass and making fun of the whole situation. And I got so much airtime. Made that choice to be on TV, I might as well sell myself. So they liked what I did so much on the show that they invited me back as a judge. I can do anything in this world. I found the best job for me because I can learn about food and beverage every day of my life. It is an endless, beautiful topic. It is in all of our best interest to start jumping on the bandwagon of cooking healthier food for people. So the Blended Burger Project is just one initiative of many, but it's that lessening of protein. It's getting that quinoa and farro on the plate. It's getting more vegetables into the sellable realm of what America wants to eat and doing it now. You gotta have impact. As a chef, as a citizen, as a community member, as a dad, and as a leader, it's in my best interest to try.
Probably the most important thing that we have done in the last couple of years is open and start a charity called the Giving Kitchen. And the Giving Kitchen is here in Atlanta, but we hope to spread it throughout the country. And What we do is we help anyone in our industry that's facing unanticipated hardship. We assist them financially and in other ways to get them back on their feet. This year, the big thing for us was to open a restaurant that supports that charity. The restaurant is called Staple House, and we were fortunate enough to be nominated for the James Beard Award for Best New Restaurant in the country. Bon Appetit and Andrew Knowlton did name us Best New Restaurant in the country for 2016, and we take all the profits from the restaurant and they funnel into the charity, which then gives them to restaurant workers in need. For example, this morning I had a woman who I happen to know who's a waitress, and she's been at the same restaurant for over 25 years, and she was just diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. She's got 2 children, and she's not going to be able to work while she goes through chemo, which means she can't pay her house note or anything like that. So that's where we step in, assist with paying that mortgage, keeping the phone, the lights, the power turned on, and do all that.
I wanted to give you this.
Thank you. That's
Part of the mission of the GCIA
super
is
Thank y'all.
what you do is amazing. And part of our mission for the GCIA is to give back to the community we're in. So what a better cause to give to than the Giving Kitchen $2,500.
Thank y'all. So just a quick note, $2,500, it's amazing. I don't know if we talked about this or not. This is the average of the grant we give. The average grant we give is $2,500, and it keeps someone on their feet who, for 2 months, who normally might end up homeless because they're not working and they can't pay an apartment bill, or they can't get to work and thus they lose their car, and then they're in that cycle of can't get out of it. So this will keep someone in the Atlanta restaurant community out of that for 2 months. Incredible. Thank you.
Thank you.